Hey guys, in today's video, I'd like to cover the latest updates in the Bitcoin market as well as talk about strategy MSTR. Most of what we're seeing today is a sea of red and Bitcoin price going down. Is now a time to sell, buy? Is now a time to sell or even buy strategy MSTR? We'll go through the latest updates and what my price prediction is, and what we're seeing just with the recent weeks is just so much uncertainty going around, especially with the stock market. There's instability right now when it comes to the change with the Doge and foreseeing changes in the federal government having job cuts, and that may very well impact the job numbers in the upcoming month, as well as having weak economic data when it comes to CPI, which we've heard in the prior weeks. But now it really comes down to with reciprocal tariffs, is this really going to draw more uncertainty as well as having tariffs imposed on different countries when it comes to specific services that are, uh, generating revenue within the United States. So I think all of what we're seeing right now is just a lot of fear, uncertainty, along with all of these single events such as DeepSeek, AI. That all happened in the beginning of February. And then now, towards the later end of the February, we have a hack of Bybit, $1.5 billion from a North Korean group of hackers that were able to tap into the Ethereum cold chain to, tap into that wallet and really, take advantage of all of that Ethereum coins. So this is all factored in. I think, there's bear and bull case here that we should not be ignoring, but I'll go through my latest updates on what I see when it comes to those two user case analysis. Now, if you're new to this channel, first off, I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. What we're seeing here is the technical analysis of Bitcoin. As you can see, the price, it was hovering at the healthy, 96,000 in the near term. And then all of a sudden today, in addition to what happened yesterday, at one point, around, the 21st of February, we thought that it was going to break through that 100K marker, and then it dropped down, around the 95,000, and it started consolidating up. And then what happened? It had a huge sell-off, tapping into the, sub 90,000 range where it got oversold, getting down to like 87,000. Yes, while we do see some slight upward trajectory here, it'll be interesting to see whether in the next, 48 hours, whether Bitcoin price is going to hover up above that $90,000 and start, going back up. However, just based on the indicators that we're seeing divergence, bearish patterns here. It could very well continue to go down where, the support level may very well get into the $70,000. Let's hope that's not the case, but even Tom Lee, he's even forecasting for Bitcoin price to reach its all-time high in 2025. It may very well be possible that the support where Bitcoin price, it may reach volatilities getting down to like the, the 70,000 range as well. So you see here just with the relative strength index here, significantly oversold. I mean, it bottomed out below 20. I mean, that's in the 15 range here. So big time overselling here. I think there's a lot of fear right now, people just selling off Bitcoin because of all of this market uncertainty going on. But this really depends on the next, 48 hours where we see the bounce back here. But given the fact that the current price right now is below the Ichimoku cloud, that's one thing that you also have to factor in based on technical analysis. It may very well be a downward descending resistance here where we may even see Bitcoin price go down even further. However, I think the key thing here is to break through that gravitational pull down, get above that, Ichimoku cloud as we, look at it from a more zoomed in view. I think one of the key things is that, current state, we're seeing some healthy upward motions here, but key takeaway, we got to get beyond that Ichimoku cloud get, more inflows where Bitcoin price, can break through. That's the best case scenario, and then have it run back up. But let's just take a look at, MSTR share price. So even though Bitcoin hasn't been dropping as much from its all-time high of 108%, I mean, 108% down to 87,000, that's a big drop off. However, not as significant as what we've seen with like, MSTR reaching 550, and then now the current price, it's flirting below that $250 range. So much more volatility here. However, what we've seen in 2024, we saw much more, upside when it comes to return on investment. However, with that, there's going to be more volatility with what we see here with MSTR, especially with the last 3 months here, seeing the price, entering this bullish flag here. However, question is, will MSTR continue to go down? How low can it really go? I think the lowest that it can go here is even perhaps the support level of $200. That's on a bear case scenario here. But I think because we're in this bullish pennant flag here, we could very well break through and, have a reverse bullish pattern, all dependent on how Bitcoin behaves here just with the price action. One of the downsides here is that the RSI, significantly oversold, but I do think that's an indicator that it's a buy opportunity. Of course, we can't measure how much lower it can go, but dollar cost averaging now, especially at this price, gives you the advantage. Although we don't know how much lower it can go, but just based on the upside here is, we could very well, see MSTR break through that Ichimoku cloud. We're still in that gravitational pull down, especially with the price, below the cloud here. You can think of the Ichimoku cloud as the gravitational pull down. So we definitely need to see technical indicators for MSTR to break through that Ichimoku cloud, get into that green zone, and start floating where it can start having a reverse split here. But what we see here is divergence, bearish signals, but hopefully all of that would change given the fact that relative strength index here is significantly oversold. Hopefully we see RSI start picking back up, inflows beginning to kick in here. But I think it all really depends on the price of Bitcoin, especially with what we're seeing with that big drawback. Let's take a look here, in that we're looking at the crypto heat map, and what we're seeing here is just with the main crypto plays here like Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of these, coins have been in the red zone here. Even Solana here dropping down from like its all-time high recently of 270, dropping down to 143 dollars. That's a big time drop off. I mean, not as big as you know, um, you know, Bitcoin here where we see less volatility, but seeing Solana drop from like 270 to, 143, that's like, dropping by like 1x already, but we don't see those type of volatility when it comes to Bitcoin. But I think where we are, 89,000, hopefully we see, some upward movement here where we get, any updates, any driving catalyst from Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. I think that could, very well position Bitcoin price to start ramping up again. Let's take a look at just the bearish case here. So Peter here, his comments, turn out the lights. The Bitcoin 100K party is over. As is typically the case, I'm sure most of you stay too long also, despite Bitcoin entering a bear market today. There is no panic or capitulation. That means the Bitcoin bear market is not over, but just getting started. So Peter, he's definitely one of the guys that disagrees with Michael Saylor in his business model, but let's also take a look what he has to say here. MSTR closed down another 11% today, 54% below its November high. More problematic, the premium to its Bitcoin holdings has now collapsed by 93%. Soon shares will trade at a discount. In the short run, the big risk for Saylor is mass redemptions from Bitcoin ETFs. Look out below. Another bearish case here with this posting. Hate to say this, but MSTR broke through key technical support. Next support is around $200. Sailors should have gone easy on ATMs. That killed all price action. So that's the bearish case. However, when you look at it through the lens of future vision, I think that what MSTR is doing doesn't matter if it's dollar cost averaging at the high point or at the low point, it's still following that same consistent model. Continue to buy up Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to go into that $1 million range. I think all of this is just near term, you know, uncertainty, and all of that won't really matter when you look at it in the long-term approach. But let's look at it from a bull case here. So, U.S. Congress is pro Bitcoin. One thing to keep in mind, we have Trump, you know, as the president, even his son, Eric Trump, he announced today, buy the dips. We have a pro Bitcoin president. And as you can see, the Senate, you know, we have an increase with pro Bitcoin members here. Also, House of Representatives increasing here. We also have U.S., you know, Commerce head Cantor Fitzgerald, Larry, now part of the, you know, the government support, as well as, you know, Senator Cynthia Lummis, part of, you know, the U.S. Congress now. So I think all of this is changing, and eventually we're going to see, you know, strategic Bitcoin reserve become, you know, fruits of our labor here, as well as, you know, having more details on the U.S. sovereign wealth fund here. You know, just taking a look at the bull case here. So Mike's posting, if you didn't buy Bitcoin at 86,000, that's okay because you'll still be able to buy some for 116,000 soon. So bullish case, one thing that we have to keep in mind is we're not out of the woods yet. We could very well potentially see Bitcoin breakthrough 200,000. I think that the likelihood for it to have a bull case to reach all-time high is very well much more possible given the fact that we're seeing, you know, healthy volatility right now, of course, with this correction of Bitcoin. I don't know whether it can continue going down. It could very well go, you know, down to like 70,000 Bitcoin. But I think as we see that volatility, it gives it more fuel for it to bounce up to all-time highs up to like 200,000 for the year 2025. Let's also take a look at this posting here. You know, Eric Trump, buy the dips, you know, and Sailor responds to best advice. So, you know, we just got to remain bullish and love this, you know, this thumbnail photo here because the bulls would take action. Strategy Bitcoin is not going away. You know, with MSTR holdings of like, you know, more than 2% of the total Bitcoins to date, I think that's one thing that we also got to factor in. Let's also take a look at Adam's posting here. MSTR is at a 1.7 MNAV. You're telling me the company that has hoarded the biggest pile of the most pristine capital ever and can get billions for nearly free to continue to accumulate more is valued at a 1.7 multiple of its net assets. This is insanely undervalued. Buy opportunity of the century right here. The last time MSTR was at this price, it had half as much Bitcoin. When the spring releases, this thing is going to melt faces. Love the posting from Adam, you know, that bullish case here. And we could very well see MSTR bounce back here, especially with the recent drop off within the last 3 months here. You know, just with the bull case, I think that there's potential upside here with MSTR. Dollar cost average down. Of course, you know, this isn't investment advice. Always do your research, but I do think that MSTR is going to be a multi-trillion dollar company at one point. What we're seeing in the near term is just uncertainty around, you know, Bitcoin. But I think at one point things are just gonna, you know, go back to normal where people will start FOMOing into like MSTR and Bitcoin price. But I wouldn't worry too much. You know, don't make decisions based on emotion. Always have a strategy in place similar to what MSTR is doing here. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. You know, we just talked about the overall updates with where I think Bitcoin is headed, what's going on with the market right now? Why is there so much uncertainty? Why is Bitcoin price dropping down? How low can it go? What's the potential of it, going back up in 2025, as well as talking about MicroStrategy. So what's the upside here, or are we going to continue to see some downward movements? So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like, subscribe. Let me know where you're watching from, what your thoughts are with the recent price action, and let me know how I can improve with my videos. Thank you guys for another stopping here.